Hi everyone, how's everyone doing today? I'm getting ready for another doctor's appointment. That's about all I do. And yeah, it's been a really rough year for me. And I know I haven't done like any Ipsy unboxings or BoxyCharm or any of that foolishness because I've just not been in a place to do it. And I haven't wanted to get on this channel and be complaining about stuff. But this year has truly been the most difficult year of my life. And I have had some difficult years. But this is it. Because things happen one right after another. Major things. Starting when Smarty Pants came home January the 4th, I think it was. His second day back at work. And they called about 30 of them in and laid them off. They hadn't allowed for those jobs when they rebid the contract, and all I'm going to say about that. So NASA said, well, we can't get the work done without Smarty Pants, so they decided to keep him until the end of April. Everybody else was given 30 days. And I can't pack this house up. I can't move. I mean, just the thought of all of it was overwhelming. The thought of no life insurance, no health insurance, which means no medication insurance. It was all just a major mess. Put us both on edge. Anyway, the end of April, they rehired him. So we went through that. And then if you know that some of you know that my personal, or my health followed the same track. High blood pressure, 240 over 210 or whatever it was. Mini stroke, blood sugar dropping to 50. In the emergency room, I've been in the emergency room about 8 times this year. And it's just the luck of the draw of what doctor you get. I've had 3 doctors that had no business being doctors. They were cruel and they were sadistic. And I don't think I've ever said that about another doctor. Oh, I see there's a lovely glare on my face. So there's that. Some of you saw my maiden voyage. I didn't watch it because I knew I was going to look foolish. Maiden voyage of my e-tricycle, Charlotte. That tricycle has brought me more joy than I can even tell you. Yesterday, I think I rode 3 miles on her yesterday. When I got off of the tricycle, I felt a little bit of a sweat. I mean, not much, but you know, it was a little bit of exercise that I could do, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I kept going around this one circle in the neighborhood, and there was a policeman out there. He lives over there, and he's outside playing with his children, and of course, they're seeing me go by like every 5 minutes. I'm making the loop, and I know they're looking at me going, how is that fat woman going so fast on that tricycle or bicycle? Anyway, I just laughed. Anyway, there's one that I really like because when you come down the hill, you can really go fast. Anyway, yeah, I'm 12. So I just loved it. Now, having said that, right after I started riding it, probably just a day or 2 after the last video, I had to go to the emergency room. And I was having so much pain in my left side. I thought I have a belly full of adhesions. I thought, and they've wrapped around some organs, and it's been a thing. And so I thought those adhesions have wrapped themselves around my colon, and they're either constricting the colon or I have an obstruction in the colon. That's what I was afraid of. So I went to the emergency room, and I got a lovely doctor. I mean, she wasn't super nice, but she wasn't mean either. All I want them to do is be pleasant and do their job. I'm not expecting, them to give me roses or anything. So she was nice, and we did all the testing, and she came back. She said the CT scan showed you had fat stranding in the same place you're talking about hurting. I never heard of that before in my life, so I had to look it up. And she said that she felt like it would be indicative of pulled muscles under where that fat stranding is. And she says it's probably from you riding your e-tricycle. She said, so lay off of it a few days. Well, the pain got worse and got worse and got worse again. But I knew what it was, and so I wasn't, overly worried about it. But it got a lot worse. My younger daughter and her husband, spent the night, and she came into my bedroom, to talk to me, and I needed to get up, and I couldn't get up without just excruciating pain from laying down, and so she pulled me up to a sitting position. I mean, it was horrific pain. And so we have been trying. So, well, let me finish that story. So it's taken a long time to heal, and I'm trying, I try to be real careful. I can still feel it sometimes, so I'm just being careful on it because I love it and I'm gonna ride it, and so there's that. Okay, so this happened. This pain started getting bad one day after my doctor's appointment where I go neuro and rehab, where the doctor who treats my spine. And it was the day after that. Anyway, I said, I want to escalate the testing on my neck because it's gotten bad. We've been worried about the lumbar spine. And that's taken a year to try to get those shots approved. So I said, let's go ahead and work on the neck problem. She said, well, okay, come into my doctor's wife, who's a neurologist. Come in to see her, and let's get an MRI, and let's get her to do a nerve conduction study on your neck. I said, okay, great. And I made the appointment for the following Wednesday because I'm trying to get all this done before the first of the year when we have an outrageous deductible to be met, and we've already met it now. So the appointment was made for Wednesday, the following Wednesday, and I was hurting too bad to even think about going anywhere. So we rescheduled it, I think, for the following Wednesday, and I'm not sure when that was, what day or time that one was canceled. So then I really couldn't move. So I called back a week ago Monday, and I said, I'd like to reschedule that appointment for the nerve conduction study. And they said, no, not until you pay us $75. And I said, why? And she said, because you were a no-show. What? I've never been a no-show for anything in my life. She said, and she read me the same thing, and I didn't understand it, so I asked to speak to the next person, and then I got the office manager. And she said, yeah, you were a no-show on this date, and this date, and we forgave you. You got to pass on one of these dates, but you were no-shows on the other. And I'm still not understanding it. I'm still trying to, where are they getting no-shows from? Then I figure it out. What they're calling no-shows actually are late cancellations. And I was under the assumption that you had to give them 24 hours notice. But no, it was 48 hours notice. And I said, well, every other doctor I go to is 24 hours notice. Well, you signed the paper in 2013 acknowledging that you knew it was 48 hours. I said, it really would have been nice if y'all had told me that. If you could have said, well, Mrs. Barefoot, we're going to need to, yes, we can cancel this, but I just want to let you know that our cancellation policy is 48 hours, and so next time we're going to have to charge you. Would have been so much better and would not have destroyed me, because this was the place, the only medical place where I felt that I was cared about. And the office manager was so rude. And she kept saying, well, I see you've already met your 5. What? What 5 did I meet? I don't know what you're talking about. And so, and I said, oh, she said, she put me on hold. She said, I'm going to talk to Dr. Blah, 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 and see if she says you have to pay. So she came back on the phone 3 minutes later and said, yeah, Dr. So-and-so said you had to pay the $75 before you could make an appointment and come in. Well, you can't get any higher than that. So, okay, I got to pay it then. And it wasn't until this long, drawn-out process that I found out what they were even talking about, that what no-show meant. And so I figured it all out. And I was trying to think, when they put me back to the receptionist, that was going to take the payment and reschedule the appointment for me. So he took me back to her, and I'm still not understanding what's going on. And I'm crying, and I'm saying, I kept saying, I am so fragile, and now I'm broken. I'm so fragile, and now I'm broken. And I'm trying to think, should I even make an appointment? I mean, when you've got chronic pain patients, how are they going to know 48 hours out? There are times you don't know that. I didn't. So that's their policy, and I figured it out. Anyway, I was just getting ready to make the appointment because I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't schedule the appointment for the nerve conduction study, because what if I'm in the emergency room? I mean, this year has been so unusual for me, but I couldn't drive. Smarty Pants had to try to regain his job back, so he couldn't drive me all the time. I drove in June to pick him up because his bicycle had a flat tire, and this was probably only the second or third time I drove, driven so far this year, because they told me not to, because they didn't know if I was having seizures or not. Well, I drove from our house and got lost going to the next parallel. All I had to do is go down one street, and I got lost and wound up somewhere out in the county. And I know my brain, I've had forgetfulness, and I've got a lot going on. And so anyway, I'm debating whether to make the appointment. Am I going to have to cancel? I cried for 4 whole days, just boo-hooed. So I'm thinking about making the appointment. I don't know what 5 means. And so the office manager snatches the phone away from the receptionist. And she said, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" I said, "No, I was just getting ready to make the appointment." And she said, "Well," I said, "there really wasn't a need for you to come back on the phone." And she said, "Well, I needed to because I looked over and saw she was still on the phone with you, and she has other things she has to do." I was devastated. So the nerve conduction study is going to be done in a couple hours. I'm dressed. I'm ready to go. Let's go see how that turns out, because who knows? There's an Omen, something I found. I listen to Elvis radio on Sirius, Elvis radio 24/7 in my car. It's all I listen to. I listen to Elvis when I'm getting dressed to amp me up, to wake me up, to put my makeup on. I've got Elvis rocking all the time. And so I noticed there's a little Omen And when the song, let me see what it is, Long Black Limousine, is him singing about, well, if you're a country fan or Elvis fan, you'll know it, but you're riding in that long black limousine. You didn't see the curve and you died that night and you finally got your way. You're gonna, it's this long thing. It's a beautiful song, but, he never sang it live or anything. Anyway, every time that phone, that song has come on and I'm on my way to a doctor's appointment, it's not going to go well. Not going to go well. So I was just listening to one of his albums while I was getting ready, and the song came on. So let's see if that's a precursor to me having another terrible doctor's appointment. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I gotta go. Gotta quit rambling. I'll see you all in the next one. I hope y'all are doing well, and I hope that things settle down in this country and this world. It's gone completely crazy, and that's another reason. Who am I to complain? At least I have a house. It might be dirty, but I got a house. So anyway, everybody, see you in the next one. Bye.